Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Hogvillenet YouTube. I'm Hudson, the host. Alongside me, you guys know him. He's my PIC, my partner in crime, Otis Kirk. How you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Big night last night with Jalen Braxton, but days brings a new day, man. I mean, but no, Jalen went public with his commitment last night to Arkansas, and it was a nice pickup for Kenny Guyton and Sam Pittman and those guys. I mean, very nice pickup for them.
Yeah, they're doing well, and when you look at this class. Defensively, they're doing pretty well, and some people that might come as a surprise because that's been an area where Arkansas has not had a lot of success recruiting, and here they are with a big time 4-star defensive back, and they got a host of other guys too that maybe don't have the stars next to their names, but are very solid pickups. And one of those guys I like that I think stands out quite a bit is Quincy Rhodes out of Little Rock.
Oh yeah,
we've also got another DB, Dallas Young, who I like a lot as well, out of Alabama.
I tell you what, Tyler, out of last year's class and out of this year, and then they have really upgraded the secondary recruiting. I mean, they've really pulled in some good kids here in the last 2 or 3 years in that secondary. You get McLaughlin, and then you get Braxton. You get some of the kids they've got. The two kids from Tennessee last year, Hall and Lewis. I mean, you get those kids. They just they're doing a good job recruiting, man. I mean, it's they're improving the secondary. They're getting more athleticism back. And at linebacker, you were talking about the defense. They're getting bigger kids like Carson Dean, 6'4", 235. You've got Alex Sanford from Oxford, 6'4", 230. Or 6'3", 240. I'm sorry, 6'3", 240. And that's legit. I saw that kid, man. He looks like what Sanford looks like. He looks like the kids they're facing on other teams in the fall. And so does Carson Dean.
Yeah, Sanford out of Oxford, Mississippi, who has no ties to Mississippi. You said he was originally from where?
Milwaukee, right. Wisconsin. Yeah, he had no ties to Ole Miss or to Oxford either, for that matter, other than playing high school football there. But no, he wasn't going. I mean, Ole Miss offered him. I had people ask me about that. I said, no, they offered him. He just didn't want to go there. It's kind of like you get a kid that doesn't want. I mean, he's not. It's not like the Bow Job kid from Norman, a private school over in Norman. He was here last year. He dominated the camp. I don't know if Jamil ever contacted him after he left here. They had offered him. The kid, people kept saying, "Oh, he'll go to OU." The kid committed to Michigan State. I knew he wasn't going to OU. He's from Africa. He had zero ties to OU. And I tried to tell everybody that the kid's not going. I mean, I talked to the kid. I got pretty close to him. He's not going to OU. And he came down to OU, Alabama, and Michigan State. And he went to Michigan State. But I still wonder what would have happened if Arkansas stayed really hard on him. We're talking about a big-time player out of Oklahoma. But no ties to OU, Ty. That was the thing. And just like Sanford has no ties to Ole Miss. It's different when it's like that.
Let's talk about that commit. Let's talk about Jalen Braxton.
No, man.
This kid they picked up, who I did a live stream on Tuss Talk with Ty. I did a live stream. I covered it. I thought he was going to go live on Instagram. We sat there for a minute, and I thought, well, maybe he's just going to announce on Twitter. And sure enough, that's what he did. And we caught it right as it went, right as the tweet was published. And, of course, we all, Hog fans in the chat celebrated. It was a big deal. This is a big-time get, Otis. I know you know that. Kid out of Frisco, Texas, 4-star corner, 5'11", somewhere around 5'10", 5'11", 170 pounds. What can you tell us about him? And of course, his kind of recruiting history. We know he was once committed elsewhere. What other details can you give us about Braxton?
Well, he's really fast. He runs a 4.43 40, a 10.8 300 meters. He plays in a very good conference down there. He's just an outstanding person, not just a football player. He's an outstanding person in addition to being a very good football player. And he, the thing I really like about him, he's very thorough with his stuff. And people think he's kind of maybe flaky because he committed to Michigan State and then Arkansas a few days later. Well, the thing about it was that was his first visit to Michigan State. He was blown away, but then he got thinking about it. It's a long way. I talked to him. He talked to me about his distance. Arkansas is 4 to 5 hours from Frisco. He can go get away, go to college, not be right there at home. But yet, if something happens back home, he can get back home in a few hours. Or if he flew, he'd be back in an hour or so. So that's the thing. He likes the distance to Arkansas. You go to Michigan State. It's you're not going to drive to Michigan State, and it's going to take you forever. And so, yeah, he looked at his options and he had 28 of them: Baylor, Miami, Michigan State, Arkansas, and California were some of the schools, and he chose the Razorbacks. And this kid committed to Arkansas, private commitment that when he was there that Sunday, and he didn't waver on it. He did not go to Miami. He did not commit to Miami. Did not commit to Baylor. Did not commit again. Even decommitted from Michigan State. So, he's really a solid kid. Very solid. From a solid family.
How serious? Because he went on that Miami visit, and that's when all the rumors.
Yeah.
And that was confirmed, right? He did for sure go on that Miami visit.
Yeah, he took a visit there, but he was never going there.
So that's when all the rumors came out that, he's publicly decommitted from Michigan State. Was Miami ever maybe, do you think, on his mind?
No, he committed to Arkansas the Saturday or Sunday he was here on a visit. He committed to Arkansas.
You said that. Okay.
He did not decommit till a little bit later from Michigan State, but when he decommitted from Michigan State, had nothing to do with Miami. It was he had committed to Arkansas while he was here.
Baylor, I'm not sure how far away Baylor is from where he's at, but that's saying something, because I know Baylor was really, really high on him as well.
Yeah, Waco's not that far from. It's a lot close. It's closer than Fayetteville, but I don't know exactly. I've driven through there going to San Antonio, from Dallas down to Waco. It's closer than Fayetteville, but it's closer to home. But for some reason, I don't think Baylor was really ever in it. They really wanted him, and they've got a great defense program down there, and their head coach is defensive coordinator. But once he visited Arkansas, he really well, for one thing, the kid that's playing safety on the team from McKinney, Joshua Manning, they grew up together. And Manning was on a visit up here with him or something. And see, that was his buddy. I'm sorry, not Joshua Manning, but the safety. I'm going to blank on his name, but
Christian Ford.
Christian Ford, yeah, man, thank you. Yeah, Christian Ford is. I'm looking at Joshua Manning. I'm sorry, I was reading that. Christian Ford is the safety from McKinney. They grew up together, and Ford was up here at the time. He got to be friends with R.J. Johnson. He also got to be friends with the big defensive tackle from Georgia too, Ian, that committed to Arkansas. It was an Auburn lean when he got here and left. He committed to Arkansas.
Johnson?
No, Ian Gerard.
Oh, okay. All right.
The kid, Ian Jeffrard. I'm sorry, Ian Jeffrard.
They're both from Georgia. I get them mixed up.
Right. But Ian was here with him that weekend. So was Johnson. Okay. So was Christian Ford. Yeah, all three of those kids were here at the same time, along with Jay. But Ford played a big role in it because they grew up together. They're best friends, and they've known each other forever. And he knew then that's where he wanted to go to school, was here with him.
Well, Arkansas had another commit in Mike Attis. This is one I've my most frequently asked questions about this kid. Number one, where is he going to play at Arkansas? Of course, most people know he's going to end up playing on the offensive side of the ball.
He's wide receiver, yeah.
And of course, I know there was a kind of a rumor on a board somewhere. Some of those message boards, they have all kinds of rumors, especially when someone of his caliber commits to Arkansas, about his ACL. If you want to talk about that for just a second, and what was his deciding factor of committing to Arkansas? And again, he committed, for those of you who are just kind of, maybe you're a little bit behind on recruiting, Mike Attis is a 4-star athlete, 5'11", 180 pounds. He committed on the 4th of July to the Razorbacks over Oklahoma, and several others. Otis,
Southern Cal, Notre Dame. Yeah, those were the three.
What else can you tell us?
Another one had close to 30 offers. No one backed off of him. There were rumors people back. No one backed off of Micah. Yeah. And he committed to Arkansas because they wanted to play receiver, and they set him down, and they showed him how they're going to use him in this offense, Ty. That's one thing that Arkansas has done. Every one of those coaches are sitting those kids down, getting out film and showing them how they're going to be used at Arkansas. That Dominic Bowman did that to Braxton and Ford. It's amazing that that really impresses those kids when they get the tape out and they sit there. Here's what we're going to use. Here's how we're going to use you at Arkansas, and that really impressed Micah. And Coach Guyton's a good recruiter, good coach, good person. And, now I was talking about Joshua Manning earlier because I was looking at his name here. I know he's not a safety, but he's a kid that Arkansas, if they could get him to go with Micah Tees. I tell you what, if somehow they've got Tees, and if they could pull in Manning, they would be set at wide receiver, and just after the season, maybe take one or two transfers, older receivers.
I figured we'll talk about, because I've got some questions here about and Manning is one of those.
Right.
So
he's good.
We'll get on Manning here in just a second. But Micah Tees, who, like you said, committed, did not have an ACL injury. So that rumor you could put to bed, because Otis, you saw him in person. He wasn't limping around. He was fine.
He walking fine when I saw him, man. I don't know. I've seen ACL injuries, and they're not walking like he was walking.
I've seen that question too. Someone asked me about that, and I said that's news to me. I did not hear anything about any ACL injury. No, as far as I know, no school has backed off on it.
I know no one backed off of him. I'm not aware of an injury. If he has one, he has it, but that's not why he committed to Arkansas. I mean, he loved the offense here, and they're planning on him. Booker T will have him out there next year, and he's been going through some drills with Booker T football team, summer drills and stuff. So, I mean, he's not injured or anything like that.
Yeah. Looking forward. So how many commitments is that so far? You had Micah, you had Jalen Braxton on the 9th, and then
21 right now. There's no – normally people would say, are they going to sign 25? Well, that rule is out the window. Now the 85 limit is what's in effect. So what they'll do, they've got 21. They'll probably sign 5 to 10 more high school kids, whatever. And then if 15 kids leaving the portal and seniors and stuff above what they have, they may end up with 40 kids in this class, 35 or 40. It would not surprise me if they end up with 35 or 40 recruits in this class, because kids will transfer. They will hit the portal. You saw it with baseball. You saw it with Dave Van Horn. There's kids sitting on the bench that want to play, and they're going to be sitting there. And if they don't get to play this season, you watch it. Some of them will hit the transfer portal. It may not be all the kids you want to leave. I hear fans say, well, I wish he'd go, or I wish he'd go. Well, sometimes those guys leave because they're not getting to play. But it's not always who you want to hit the transfer portal. Yeah. I don't think anyone we've chosen Joe Fauché, Greg Brooks, and Vito Cavaruso last year. Good players. Like OU didn't run off Jaden Hazelwood. Yeah. I mean, it's not always the players you think, man, if they leave, we're okay. Well, it's not always. It doesn't always work that way. And
right.
Sometimes you lose players. And Arkansas will lose players that they don't want to lose after the season. Simply, somebody will be homesick. Somebody will be wanting to go. They may lose some kids to pros that you pretty well think KJ Jefferson, Jalen Catalon are 2 underclassmen that will probably go, but they may be somebody else. You never know. I mean, you just don't know. I mean, going into the season last year, I'm not sure Kevin McPherson or anybody else really thought Jalen Williams would leave after his sophomore season. I'm talking about before the season started, And then he gets in there and has a good season, he goes. So, I mean, that could happen in football too. So, I mean, that's the thing. And, running back or a receiver or somebody could have a big year and leave. I mean, that's the way it is. And I'll tell you somebody to watch out for is Drew Sanders, the linebacker that came here from Alabama. Drew Sanders will probably play 1 year at Arkansas and then go to the NFL. Do not be surprised if that happens.
I love Sanders, and watching him in the spring camp, and I realized, we only had access. Of course, I wasn't with Hogville yet at the time, but I had all we had. The public was, of course, they streamed their event on ESPN or on SEC Network, and Sanders is everywhere. He's
he's a stud, man. And I mean, do not be surprised if that's a kid that we all talk about. Catalan, we talk about KJ Jefferson. If Drew Sanders stays healthy and has the season I think he has, he'll be a 1-year player for the Razorbacks. He will go to the NFL. You wait and see. So. I mean, I'm not wishing that. I'm just giving you what's going to happen. I mean, I think Arkansas expects that, to be honest with you. They know if he has a big season, he's probably gone.
Well, the nature of this defense too. I mean, you look at the numbers, guys like, and nothing against Bumper Pool, Grant Morgan, or Henry, but their numbers were. You felt like their stats were gaudy, and that's because I think this defense it's so focused on linebackers being such a massive part of the defense. A guy like Sanders, oh my Lord, I think his stats could be ridiculous, Otis.
That's what's gotten Carson Dean, who, by the way, reminds me of Drew Sanders. Alex Sanford. I'm going to call him Oxford all year. Alex Sanford liked Arkansas because the linebackers. This defense is made for linebackers to make plays, as you said. And linebackers know that.
But it's good that it's showing in the recruiting trail, because I'm like you. You and I have talked about Alex Sanford, and then I've talked with some other people. I really wish I had access to go watch him play, or had the opportunity to go to Mississippi and watch him play. I'm really high on him. I don't care that he only has 3 stars. I don't care about that.
I don't care about that. What I care about is I saw him and I went up to him and talked to him. And I told him, I said, you look like the guys that Arkansas plays every week when they're playing Auburn, Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Texas A&M. That's who he looks like they're playing against. That's the kid, the body of linebacker. So many times Arkansas, and don't get me wrong, they've had some great luck with 5'11", 6-foot linebackers. But Mike Shear has come in, got Drew Sanders, got Carson Dean, 6'4", 235. Alex Sanford, 6'3", 240. He's getting the taller kids, Ty. They're not having these 5'11", 6-foot linebackers anymore. They're getting the big kids. That's what they're playing against in the SEC. And now Arkansas is getting that.
Nothing against someone like, Fayetteville kid that plays for the Niners now, Dre Greenlaw. Nothing against these guys that played safety. You go back to like Jericho Nelson, Jerry Franklin. Those guys played safety at high school. They didn't convert to linebacker. Now, maybe I'm wrong about Franklin. I think Franklin kind of was a hybrid player, kind of played in between.
Yeah, he played all over the field for Marion. I mean, Jerry played everywhere. I mean, Marion they had one Jerry Franklin. He played safety, linebacker, wide receiver, running back. He played where they needed him to play.
And him and Jericho Nelson were really good, in that defense. Of course, that was the bend don't break days. But it's nice to get kids that are 6'2", 6'3", that are actually linebackers at the high school level. Yeah. They're developed at that position from sophomore, junior to senior season, and then they get to Arkansas. We're not having to worry about, transitioning a kid who played or mixed time at safety a lot. And I know a lot of these kids do play multiple positions, especially when you're good enough to be recruited by schools like Arkansas. You're going to play multiple positions. But it's good that you get guys like who you just mentioned, all those names you just mentioned, and Alex Sanford in this class is one that stands out. It's nice to get these 6'3", 6'4", 235, 240 linebackers that are natural linebackers. And I think that's something that has always plagued Arkansas outside of Dre Greenlaw. And I watched him play. It was a hell of a defensive player for Fayetteville, especially at safety, and I kind of thought
Tony
that's what he would end up doing.
He came up here and played linebacker and did a good job at it.
Yeah.
But these are kids that are playing linebacker and they're coming in as a line. The next one's going to probably be 6'3", 230 himself, and that's Brad Spence. The next linebacker they're going to probably commit.
Nice transition. That is actually exactly where I wanted to go. Otis, you're reading my mind, man. That's why you and I rock at this. Brad Spence, a pretty big kid. Yeah. 247 has him listed at 6'2", 225. I've heard he's actually about 6'3 and a half, 230.
Yeah, he's 6'3", 230 is what I've got, and I've actually stood next to kid. I mean, I've seen him in person. So
he's
6'2" or 6'2 and a half, that's without shoes. And that may very well be the case. And that because they get these kids without shoes. But look, man, I tell them I'm not interested in you being 6'2", because if if they measured you at 6'2", and nobody told me they measured him at 6'2", but if they measured Spence at 6'2" or 6'2.5", it's barefoot. And here's the thing: they play not only in shoes but in cleats.
Yeah.
So I always add an inch to that. You know,
I heard you say that to several players when you and I were at that camp.
I mean,
every
even
single
Arkansas,
player.
we wear shoes, man. I mean, I know. I went to Wisconsin one time, and this guy come out. Get this. This guy from Wisconsin, he's got overalls on. He didn't have a John Deere cap. He had overalls and snuff running down his mouth. And he comes out, "You're from Arkansas? Man, you guys wear shoes down there." And I'm thinking, fella, look at you, man. He got snuff, he got overalls and snuff running down his face, out of his mouth, man. And I mean, right. I'm thinking, yeah, we wear shoes. And I've always made a joke. We wear shoes in Arkansas. Thinking about that encounter I had up in Waukesha, I believe it was, or somewhere, Sullivan or Waukesha, somewhere in Wisconsin anyway. But anyway, Brad is 6'3", 6'30", because like I said, they play in cleats.
Right.
You could actually add an inch and a half with the cleats, but I had an inch. But he's a good-sized linebacker, very active. Houston Klein Force. He's down to Arkansas, California, and Texas as his 3 finalists. He's got a bunch of offers.
Does Texas, and that was one of the questions I had for you, is that a committable offer to him?
I don't know about that one because I don't know if it is or not. So I can't say on that.
Okay.
You know, when kids talk about an offer, I can't. Yeah. You never know what's committable and what's not because it's hard to know. I mean, it's just like you get out here, and Arkansas's got 15 quarterbacks. Well, not just Arkansas, but any school's got. They're going to take one quarterback. They've got 15 offered. So do you say this 5-star quarterback, Rashada, has no offer to Arkansas? Wasn't committable? I mean, once a school fills up, that was a committable offer maybe at the time, but if they fill up at that position, by then it may not be a committable offer. Doesn't mean it wasn't ever a committal. You see what I'm trying to say about like Jaden Rashada was a 5-star quarterback, but Arkansas got Malachi Singleton, so they're, so it's tough to say on that committable. So I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know on Texas. I don't think it matters. I don't think he's going to Texas. Arkansas offered him before he visited, but they also offered his little brother when he was here, Trent Spence, who's about 6'3", 210 himself. And,
You have a whole article on these kids, and that's why another reason why I'm bringing them up. If you guys haven't already, head to hogville.net and you can get caught up with Otis and all of his articles. And he's written about every single one of these kids we're talking about.
Every one of them, and
Brad Spence. So you're a lean for Brad Spence to Arkansas. Let's move on to the next one.
I predict he goes to Arkansas. I'll predict it.
You did predict Arkansas?
No, I will predict it right now. I'll predict he goes to Arkansas. No,
okay.
And look, he has not told me that. If he had, I wouldn't predict it. I mean, I would not say. I can honestly say I talked to him, did an interview with him. He has not told me he's going to commit to Arkansas at a certain time. I just feel like he will, and so I'm predicting. But if he had told me, then I'd be coy about it. But see, I knew Jalen Braxton had committed, but I put on there, will Arkansas get good news at midnight? So I'm not going to bust the kid out. But if they haven't told me, I'll predict it.
Yeah, we avoid that, unlike certain people.
I'm not going to bust the kid out on that.
Bison Lang, kid out of Pike Road, Alabama, goes to Pike Road High. He's a 3-star, big kid, 6'5", 330 pounds.
Oh, man.
And everything I've heard is he is an Arkansas lean. You feel pretty good about him for the Razorbacks?
I feel real good. I feel like he'll be the 4th offensive lineman commit in this class. I think Matt Sinker is going to Louisville if he hasn't already. He may have already committed. I know he had a date. I don't remember the date because he's not coming to Arkansas. I know Connor Stroh went to Texas, which I predicted. Yep. I knew that was happening. If not for Texas, Arkansas would have gotten Connor Stroh.
Yep.
I've heard people talk about A&M with the family ties. That meant nothing to him. If he had not gone to Texas, Connor Stroh would have been a Razorback.
Which I kind of think, and nothing against these guys are taking. I think that's, you win some, you lose some. I get it, but man, I really wanted Connor Stroh. I really was impressed with him.
Oh no, they wanted Connor Stroh. He's a big time player, but I knew he was going to go to Texas. I had that gut feeling about that because he was really torn. But when it came down to it, he was front. If he'd have been from Arkansas, he'd be a Razorback, Or if Texas had not offered him for whatever reason, he would have been a Razorback. But he was not going to go to A&M. But anyway, who'd you ask me about? Oh, you asked me about Lang. Yeah, no, I think Lang will be a hog. He hasn't told me that. But if I was projecting, I think he'll be the fourth offensive lineman. I will say this. He will be the fourth offensive lineman whenever he commits, whenever that is. And I don't have a date exact, like we knew Jalen was last night at midnight. I don't have a date on him, but I do know he's visiting for the Alabama game, official visit, but he's been here on several unofficial. But I will say this. I think that's 4 offensive linemen, and they will take a 5th high school kid if they get a stud.
Oh, really?
To take 5. Yeah, to take 5.
Okay.
And I know this for a fact. To take the 5th one, they don't want a portal kid right now. They want somebody from the high school rank. In fact, Cody Kennedy is going to try to use that against schools, that portal deal. What he's going to do, Cody is going to try to convince kids that come to Arkansas, we will develop you. We're not going to keep going out and getting kids to play over you out of the portal. Come here, we will develop you as an offensive lineman because offensive linemen need to be developed. So that's the route he's taking. But to take a 5th offensive lineman, I do know that Pittman has pretty well allowed him to do it, but it's got to be a difference maker. I mean, it's got to be almost a can't. So if there is such thing as a can't miss prospect, that's what it's got to be. I don't know. I hear that term can't miss, and everybody can miss, but right. I don't know. But seriously, it's got to be a stud. I mean,
so Kennedy, offensive line coach Kennedy's his approach is going to be, and what you meant by he's going to use that against other schools is that he's not going to trash talk other schools. He's going to say, hey, look, other schools are going to go to the portal. We're not.
Right.
So that's going to be his approach.
He use the development approach is what I'm saying. No, it's not trashing other schools. It's just a lot of schools Arkansas is going to the portal on some positions on the defensive line. I mean, Arkansas is doing the same thing, but he's not on the offensive line. He doesn't want to do that. It's up to each position coach. And
I think that's a good approach. It really is.
And he's going to use the approach. Hey, man, you come to Arkansas. We're not going to go get. Now they got Tykees Crawford, but that was a weird deal because he was committed to Arkansas. It looked like he wasn't going to qualify, so he decommitted and went to Charlotte.
Yeah.
But otherwise, they pretty well stayed out of the transfer portal business on the offensive line. And that Cody's approach is, if we're just going to try to develop them here, you come here. You work your way in. I mean, it's like even Tykees came out of the portal, but he's had to develop. And here,
Yeah.
Jalen St. John has developed himself here. The other kids, the Henderson kid at center. I mean, that's the approach he wants to take, Ty, is what I'm saying. No, I don't mean he's not going to trash other schools. Cody doesn't do it, but I'm just saying that he's wanting to use the approach. We're not going to try for the quick fixes. We're going to try the development stage, the development fix, not the quick fix. It's that simple.
So, and then moving on, sticking with some of the names that you've mentioned before in previous articles, and this is the kid that I get asked probably the most about because he is a 4-star and he was supposed to commit to Kansas State. You know where I'm going with this. Joshua Manning, this 6'3", 6'4", 190-pound wide receiver out of Lee Summit, Missouri in this 2023 class. Where are you with him, and kind of where are the Razorbacks with him, I guess, more important?
I may have to go up there and wrestle him, man, because I love that kid, I may have to go up there and wrestle him. He puts on that purple stuff. Unless it's the Lakers. He's going to have to quit wearing that purple stuff. No, seriously, his mom played basketball at Arkansas. He was going to commit to Kansas State the other day. But for some reason, he didn't. I'll tell you, he's close to the quarterback up there. The kid, Avery Johnson, they committed to them, the quarterback.
Yeah.
4-star. He's real close to him, Ty. That was one of the drawing points. And Kansas State and Iowa State have done a good job recruiting him. They've done a very good job. And Arkansas has done a good job. But I don't know if Arkansas got to him or if somebody else did. But I do know Arkansas would love that. He's one of their priority recruits. Let me put it that way. At wide receiver, you had him, Cole Adams, and Micah Tees. That was the 3. If Arkansas would have taken those 3. And if you notice, that's the 3 wide receivers that have officially visited. That was their 3. I put that on Hogville a long time ago. I put on there. That's their priorities, guys.
Well, final question.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to roll the dice on the next kid that's going to commit, who is it, and when do you feel like maybe a possible timeline that could happen?
The next kid I think will commit will be Brad Spence, and I think he is saying during fall camp, during preseason drills at high school, which I guess would be sometime early August.
Yeah. Yep,
yeah, I mean, so we're talking 3 weeks. What are we talking, 3-4 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
I think he might commit before then, but I've got to say Brad Spence, because although it could be Lang, those are the two kids right now, Ty. I'm not going to lie to you. Those are the two kids, Spence and Lang, that I think Arkansas will get. Most of the kids, I was talking about 6 or 7 private commitments or 5 earlier. Most of them's going public now. So we're down to the two kids that I feel the best about right now with Arkansas, and I can't give you a time because they haven't said anything.
Well, I think that's it. That's probably going to do it. I think we covered about everything. We were a little bit behind. I've been battling COVID these last week and a half, and so I apologize. I'm a little bit behind.
I've been busy too. Yeah, I've been busy too, and it's fine, man. Yeah. Appreciate you doing this.
Oh, absolutely. Glad we could knock this one out on July 9th. Again, thank you guys so much. Remember to share the content, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out all the links provided for you down below in the description box. Until next time, woo pig suey. Go Hogs.